Once upon a time, in the land down under, where kangaroos hop and koalas snooze, there lived a humble creature known as the emu. Now, these flightless birds were not your ordinary backyard fowls. They were the giants of the outback, with long legs made for sprinting and an appetite for mischief. In the early 1930s, Australia was in the grips of an agricultural crisis. The Great Depression had hit hard, and farmers were struggling to make ends meet. To add insult to injury, thousands of emus decided it was the perfect time for a migration to the wheat-growing regions of Western Australia. It's a fascinating blend of military action and wildlife conservation gone insanely awry. The idea of gunning down a bunch of emus is just ridiculous and horrific by today's standards. However, the idea to do this very much came from the fallout of the First World War and the Great Depression. To fight the emu population, the Australian government responded by deploying soldiers equipped with Lewis guns, a kind of light machine gun. But the emus turned out to be extraordinarily robust and agile animals. The soldiers made several attempts, but were unable to successfully eliminate the emu population because the birds either scattered and outran them or just took a surprisingly high number of bullets before they were killed. It was soon called the Great Emu War by the media, and it came to represent both the resilience of nature and the stupidity of the government. With only a tiny number of emus killed, the military operation was ultimately declared a failure, and the government eventually moved to other strategies to manage the emu population. Following the unsuccessful military intervention in the form of the Great Emu War, the Australian government had to regroup and find alternative strategies to address the emu population's impact on agriculture. Here are some of the approaches they took. One of the first steps was to reinforce existing fences and construct new barriers to deter emus from accessing agricultural fields. Another strategy was to promote crop diversification, encouraging farmers to plant a variety of crops that were less appealing to emus or more resilient to their feeding habits. Another method was habitat modification to modify the emu's natural habitat to discourage them from congregating in agricultural areas. The government also focused on raising public awareness about emus and their behaviour, as well as providing education and resources to help farmers implement effective emu management strategies. Let us get back to our story. Imagine wide stretches of golden wheat softly flowing in the breeze, a farmer's delight and pride, and the emus arriving like an unforeseen storm and devouring crops before you can say, "Crikey, what just happened?" Equipped with Lewis guns and a determined mindset, the men advanced to confront their deadly enemies. Here's where the fun starts, though. It appears that emus are not readily intimidated. With the coolness of an accomplished dancer, they zigzagged across the landscape, scattering like confetti at a kangaroo wedding. The soldiers, bless their hearts, tried their best. They set up ambushes, they laid traps, and they even tried herding the emus like unruly sheep. But those crafty birds always seemed to be one step ahead. It was like a game of cat and mouse, except the mouse was armed with a machine gun and the cat had feathers. One really remarkable incident involves spotting a herd of emus playing in the distance. In a hurry to announce their victory, the soldiers started firing. But the emus did not fall in neat rows like dominoes. Instead, they dispersed everywhere, leaving the soldiers confused and wondering if they were shooting at birds or figments of their imaginations. It was clear that the emus were winning this strange warfare as the days grew into weeks and the weeks into months. Eventually, the government gave up, with their ammo running low and their humiliation growing. It had ended with a squawk rather than a bang in the Great Emu War, and so the emus returned to their wandering ways, leaving behind a trail of wheat in their wake, stubble, and bemused soldiers. The lesson learned? Never underestimate the power of nature, especially when it comes armed with feathers and a bad attitude. And that, my dear viewers, is the tale of the Great Emu War, a true story that proves sometimes truth is stranger than fiction. So the next time you see a flock of emus strutting by, just remember, they may look harmless, but deep down, they're the conquerors of the outback. And there you have it, folks. The unbelievable saga of the Great Emu War has come to a close. I hope you enjoyed this wild ride through history as much as I enjoyed sharing it with you. Before we part ways, I want to extend a heartfelt thank you to each and every one of you for tuning in. Your support means the world to me, and I couldn't do this without you. If you haven't already, make sure to hit the subscribe button below. By subscribing, you'll stay updated on all the latest videos coming your way. And don't forget to give this video a thumbs up if you found it entertaining and informative. Your likes help the channel grow and reach new audiences. Until next time, stay curious and adventurous, and I'll catch you in the next video.